Hey guys, this is Jekar with another battle report. Today we've got another Orcs and Goblins versus Ogre game, like the last time. We are doing a tournament practice for a tournament that's going to be next week that I'm running, and unfortunately it looks like also I'm going to be playing in, which I really didn't want, but we've had a couple people drop, and that's just the reality. It's going to be at 3,000 points, no Grand Armies. We're doing Swedish comp. We've bumped the Swedish comp points up to 375, which is really not a very good answer, but it's the answer that I came up with, and that's what we're going to do. So this is going to be a modified Blood and Glory scenario. So here's the picture of the Ogre deployment. You can see in the front right of the picture, that is a unit of 6 scouting man-eaters. That's where he chose to scout them. They have additional hand weapons, heavy armor, the standard of discipline. I don't think they have any other command other than the standard bearer. Got a saber tusk, wisely 6 inches away from his other units. Unit of 5 lead belchers plus a fire belly. The fire belly only has the dispel scroll. Behind them are 8 iron guts. They have a standard. Then there's a unit of 11 or 12 ogre bulls that the giant is unit filler for. They have iron fist. That's where he's got his level 4 general. And his BSB. The BSB has a trickster's helm. The level 4 has the armor of destiny. And oh, the Hellheart. That's right. Next to them for Mournfang, they have a standard bearer with the Dragonhide banner. And then there's a hunter on a stone horn. The hunter only has enough points to take the harpoon launcher and the enchanted shield, but take them he does. This is a picture of my deployment. You can see I have 5 spider riders. I have a pump wagon with an outrigger and a spiky roller. 25 black orcs. They have the standard of discipline. 8 common trolls, the Arachnarok spider. Behind the trolls is a unit of 25 goblins. They have spears and shields. They have a standard bearer. And they have 3 nasty skulkers. And I have 2 level 2s orc shamans in there. One has a dispel scroll, one doesn't have anything else. On the other side of my Ragnarok are 2 mangler squigs, another pump wagon with the same kit, 100 night goblins with a goblin level 4 in there, my Black Orc War Boss General, who's on the end closest to Boron the Spider and the Trolls, Goblin BSB with the Spider Banner, and 3 Night Goblin Big Bosses with Great Axes. There's 2 Doom Divers back along the back row, and then I have 2 units of 5 Wolf Riders that I've got a picture of where they vanguard. So this is my right side of the board. After his turn 1, you can see everything moved up. You can see where my Wolf Riders are. Everything just kind of pushed forward. He's looking to get in range with his lead belchers and fire at my manglers, or jump on them with a saber tusk next turn. You can actually see the mangler on the left has 1 heart left. The lead belchers took off 2 wounds from it, and so I'm feeling pretty good about that. 1 wound mangler does just as much damage as a 3 wound mangler. This is just a picture of the other side of the board. You can see he's pushing up pretty conservatively. He is giving me a charge into the Mournfang with the Ragnarok. It's on a 9, I think, which is pretty standard average for Swift Stride, since he can go over that building like a boss. And I'm going to have to deal with that Saber Tusk and the Stonehorn here in a minute. I'm going to have to redirect the Stonehorn, I think, since it's frenzied, I'll be able to get it in its flank. So I'm actually feeling pretty good. This looks like a flank that I have well in hand. The giant unit of Night Goblins against the rest of his army, however, is one that I'm being a little concerned about. So my turn 1, you can see that I moved up. I ran the Wolf Riders around to try to pick on the Man-Eaters. The Manglers didn't make it, but that's alright. My Pump Wagon ran into his unit, his Saber Tusk, excuse me, his single Saber Tusk, destroyed it and overran into the Lead Belchers. The Lead Belchers took some damage from me shooting at them with the unit of Night Goblins there. And I think the Man-Eaters have taken damage not from my Wolf Riders with spears and bows, but from my Doom Divers. I think my Doom Divers are focusing on them. He scrolled, I want to say, Foot of Gork, or I didn't cast it or something. I tried to cast Foot of Gork and it didn't go off. I think he just diced it off with me. But I did get, I believe that's Itchy Nuisance over there, reducing the Man-Eater's movement by 2 or 3. And over here you can see Boron failed his charge. Everybody else kind of just moved up to block, and my pump wagon didn't get into the Stonehorn, which I guess is okay. I wasn't really worried about getting into the Stonehorn. It would be better to get in than have it charge me, because I could at least do some damage maybe. But it is what it is. And in the bottom of the picture, my Spider Riders did not charge the Sabertusk. They were just kind of hanging out in front of it, daring it to charge us. So of course his turn 2. The Sabertusk actually charges, and I don't think I have a picture of it, but the Sabertusk kills 2 Spider Riders, and the spiders actually poison it to death, which is awesome. They go at the same time because they're initiative 4, so the Spider Riders just reform. The Stonehorn, whose name I will never remember, the Stonehorn hits the pump wagon because it can't really do much else, and it overruns because it's frenzied, and that's just going to be all sorts of great. The Mournfang run into Boron. They are just barely, they're about half an inch in front of him when I have to release Fanatics. I go ahead and release the Fanatics through him, through the spider, who has taken some wounds from an Iron Blaster. The Iron Blaster did 4 wounds to it, I think. So the Fanatics do 3 of the 4 remaining wounds, kill 2 or 3. Well, they killed 2 Mournfang outright, and I think they put a wound on one of the other ones. And then the Mournfang, of course, just impact hit Boron to death. And they reform rather than overrun, which I thought was interesting. I figured that he would have wanted to get back into my backfield or try to start charging my unit or something, but he didn't, and I'm okay with that because over on this side, I'm just going to troll him in the flank, maybe blackwork him in the front of the Stonehorn. I've taken care of the Sabertusk, and then I also have the unit of goblins with pretty substantially expendable um, shaman in there to redirect the Mournfang, or even probably to beat them if I can get them in the flank. You know, I'll lose a bunch where I've got the nasty skulkers with armor piercing and all that. So I can see what I can do. I'll probably beat them on static res at least. And over on this side, we learn how annoying it is to have a building in the middle of the table, even if it's not Watchtower, as he just puts his big unit into the building, Swift reforms them on in, turns the Lead Belchers. The Lead Belchers actually survive very handily the Pump Wagon. I kill a Lead Belcher or something, and so it's like a Lead Belcher and a Fire Belly. And they turn and they don't kill the second squig. You can see that I fled from the Man-Eaters over here, and they ran down the unit of goblins. My other goblins passed their panic test, and his unit of Iron Guts is kind of just stuck behind the Lead Belchers. Here's what it looks like at the end of my turn 2. You can see I've blown some of my goblins up from my own magic. He hellhearted me this turn. All of my wizards exploded, so I didn't get a phase. My manglers, one mangler went through the Lead Belchers and the Man-Eaters. No, I think it just went through the Lead Belchers. Killed the level 2 Fire Belly and the last Lead Belcher, and is going crazy over there on the side. My Wolf Riders and Doom Divers picked on the Man-Eaters, and you can see that there's one guy left, and he has the Standard of Discipline, and he's gone 2 wounds, I want to say. Over here you can just see that my Spider Riders failed their march test and couldn't really march very far. My Black Orcs are moving up, threatening the building and also the Iron Blaster a little bit. I moved my Shaman over that has, I think that's the one that has Here We Go. He's close to the Black, he's like a 6 away from the Black Orcs, I want to say. And that's just in case I want them to charge the building. I want him to be able to do that. And I was trying to get him away from the Hellheart, which didn't work. I backed up the Goblins with the other Shaman. That didn't work. As you remember me saying, I got Hellhearted. It was bad. I lost my entire magic phase. So Ogre turn 3, I beat up the Stonehorn, and it runs. It's got like a wound or something left on it, but hopefully it won't rally on its leadership 5 over here. you can see that he ran his last standard bearer over to the building. He's going to hide him in that building and just make it hard for me to shoot him with anything, and so he won't actually get killed, and I won't get that banner because remember, it's blood and glory. And the Iron Guts are still scared of moving up because of that squig there. So on my 3, I Hand of Gork the trolls over to me. Actually, let me actually go back on that. On my turn 3, everybody kind of moves forward. You see the Black Orcs are ignoring the building. They're going to go get an Iron Blaster, hopefully. My big unit is still sitting there. My goal is to use the trolls to wither down that unit in the building with Foot of Gork, with all my shooting, my Doom Divers, my poison shots, yada yada. And then on the last turn, throw either the trolls or the Black Orcs in, and hopefully have withered him down quite well, and be able to beat up on some characters or push them out or something, since he's only leadership 8. Uh, the trolls actually passed their stupidity check and charged the Stonehorn off the board, and then I Hand of Gorked them over here facing the building, and so that's how they ended up all the way over here, which I thought was actually a pretty cunning plan. Over on this side, my wolves failed animosity, and they rolled the second one, so they had to attack the big horde, and they did like 3 wounds to the big horde. But the horde actually does 2d6 strength 3 hits and only killed 2 wolf riders. So I'm not sure, and they rolled 11 hits or something like that. So I rolled really crappily to kill the wolf riders, and they got some armor saves. But so that big unit couldn't do much this turn. That really frustrated me. Um, I think that's about it. You see that the Mangler Squig ran through the Iron Guts and killed a couple, and is now crazy back in the back and probably won't do anything. This, I'm pretty sure, is a picture of his turn. Notice that nothing has happened. He didn't really move anybody. He's shooting at, I think, a troll or something with the cannonball. I'm not really sure what's happening. Fanatics are all still spinning. He's in the building. Alright, so this blurry picture is my turn 4. You can see that I've moved the Spider Riders up to redirect the Iron Blaster, which actually later I realize is a terrible idea, because the Iron Blaster is just going to shoot Grape Shot at me and kill me that way, and I'm not going to get a chance to actually kill it. So that was really frustrating later on when I realized that. The Trolls are hanging out. They actually charged in this turn. For reasons I forget, I charged them in. I totally forewent my plan of what I was going to do. I think I actually miscast and forgot Foot of Gork last turn, and I realized without Foot of Gork, I wasn't going to do much damage to the building and I had a misfire on the Doom Divers, so one of them couldn't shoot last turn, and one of them can't shoot this turn, and so I realized, I'm just not going to be able to pour enough fire into that building, so let me just start attacking it with trolls. They're only leadership 8 with the reroll. Let me just try and make them break. I'm going to beat them 3 times, on turn 4, on turn 5, and turn 6. Let me try and break them. If I beat them, I'm going to destroy the BSB. I'm going to destroy that banner. And so they will actually break, and I'll get the extra victory points. What happened in Magic was I miscast, and I rolled a 8, I want to say. And so all of my wizards, which all only had 1 wound, all died. So now I don't have a magic phase. And that's enjoyable. Luckily, his wizard has miscast by this time and is level 2 and knows the +1 strength and +1 toughness, and I don't care at all about strength, so I'm just chucking all my dice every turn at the toughness buff. Over here you can see that I'm redirecting those Iron Guts just so I can shoot at them with my Night Goblins, since my trolls are going to be assaulting every turn. I'm just going to shoot at those guys and redirect them off. That's really probably a bad idea. It probably doesn't matter that I try to shoot them. I should probably still, I don't know. I probably shouldn't redirect them. Rather, I should have redirected them towards me to try and actually beat them in combat. But whatever. I made a mistake, and we'll see how it goes. Man, this is a terrible picture, and I apologize. But again, this is what I was talking about. I'm gonna be mad about the Iron Blaster just grape shotting me and killing me, and I'm at this point realizing He's killed enough where I can't move the spiders out of the way because he'll charge me and probably beat me just based on impact hits. So I'm just going to have to keep the spiders there and hope that my Black Orcs don't die all to Grape Shot and that I can keep their points alive. This is my turn 5. Really nothing moves. I've done some more wounds over to his Iron Guts, which I think I have a different picture of. The Trolls assaulted, beat him, and he's stuck. Excuse me, he didn't stick, he stuck. And pretty much everything is staying the same. So this is becoming a really enjoyable game. That was sarcasm, if you can't tell over the internet. So this is what I did to the Iron Guts. I turn around, and actually this is a really clever wheel, which you'll see on my turn 6. But I shot them. They're down to just their command group. So everything is looking good to me. So hopefully I'll be able to finish them off on my turn with some Doom Divers that are finally able to get back online. This is his turn 6. I think he shot the goblins in an attempt to panic them off. Maybe they've been dead from a miscast or something. But regardless, you can see nothing really happened. The Iron Guts I don't have a picture of it, but the Iron Guts just kind of are running away, trying not to get killed. And the people in the building are waiting for the final assault. So here's our last picture, and you can see that sneaky move I was talking about. I actually could see the building with my general on the end of that long bus, and I made the stupidest wheel in Warhammer history, and I wheeled that whole poisoned unit all the way around into the building because I thought I'm going to get 3 Night Goblin big bosses, my war boss, hell, I'll throw my BSB in there too for extra attacks, and then I'll have a champion and then 4 regular Night Goblins. So I'm going to have so many attacks, they're all going to be poisoned. I'm just going to throw them at, I'm going to win. If he can't put characters forward because of the chance I might kill them, and I would actually win if he did. So, I just have to give it a try. So I did. So the trolls just kind of sit there. The goblins kind of sit there. The Black Orcs and the spiders charge into the Iron Blaster. I think, well, he can only kill 3 spiders. The Black Orcs will have a banner and a rank and a charge, so that's 3. So then I just have to do some wounds to it, and hopefully I can break it. Now it is within 12 of the general. I'm going to resolve the building first and attempt to, break the general, and then the Iron Blaster will be on its leadership of 7 or 5 or whatever it is. And then the Iron Guts actually get targeted by my Doom Divers, and I do just enough wounds to kill 2 of them. And I remember that he has full command, so the banner dies. So again, if I can kill the BSB or the general, or even all of the ogres in that building, which would be almost impossible. I think he still has 6 or 7 ogres left alive in the building. But even if I somehow magically do that, I'm going to win this game. So we go ahead and we go to combat, and I kill a bunch of people, but I don't kill enough. He doesn't stick any of his characters down there. He's scared of all my people with poison and, big nasty choppas, and so he sticks them out. I kill 2 or 3 ogres, probably, maybe 4. I kill a bunch, but it doesn't matter. He's steadfast on 8, and he sticks. So bummer, I'm not going to get the extra victory points for beating him. And then to add insult to injury, I do 3 wounds to his Iron Blaster. He does no wounds to the Black Orcs. He does all of the wounds all 3 wounds to the, to the Spider Riders. And I beat him, I beat him by 2 or 3? And he sticks. He rolls like Snake Eyes to hold. And so that's the game. All right, so we added up the points, and the points came out. I beat him by about 400, but we're doing the 20-0 system, so it was a 12-8 win to me. So I was kind of excited about that. The modification of Blood and Glory is if I had broken him, the first person that breaks your opponent gets 900 extra victory points, so essentially 5 more VP, so it would have been a 17-3. And the second person gets 450, so they get the extra back. They get 3 more. I'm sorry, 900 should be 6. And but neither of us got any extra points, so it just came down, and I beat him by a couple hundred. So normal victory, but it's only a 12-8 for the tournament. Things that I had to think about after the game were buildings in the middle are fun. Derp. I put them there because we have a modified watchtower scenario, And this turned into the standard watchtower scenario where I had to beat the unit in the watchtower, or it was going to, or I was never going to win with, I was never going to win big. You know, not only was that a lot of his points, that was also 900 VPs for the scenario as well. And I guess Death Starring kind of supports this. You know, we could just stick the whole unit in there, but really either of us that stuck our one big unit with our general and BSB in that building was never going to give up that 900 victory points. And that's just the way it is. I think for the tournament, we're going to take the building out when it's not watchtower and just not let this happen multiple times during the tournament. So, you know, we both, from about turn 3 on, we were both like, yeah, this is never going to work. This is going to be real fun. You know, Matt's going to soften him up, and either he's going to win or he's not. And there's some cinematicness to that, but just the way it played out with all the miscasts and stuff, it wasn't cinematic. It was kind of boring. It was just me trying to kill everything else on the table. Second thing I learned was that I need to learn to deploy, and that's me calling myself a noob. The Black Orcs just didn't have a place. They wound up all right on that flank. You know, they could have dealt with the Mournfang. They could have dealt with the Stonehorn. You know, if they got a flank on the Mournfang, or if they had hit the Stonehorn with something else maybe. But you know, there's only 25 of them. They're not a big horde. I can't just throw them down and just say yell bring it on like I'm Harry. But I just got to figure out what to do with them. They don't have to be near my general. However, the trolls and the Ragnarok do, and I just kind of didn't leave enough space for them. And so I had some issues with deployment. I just have to learn how to deploy this army. This is my final army for the tournament. So I have to figure out what I'm doing deployment-wise, and that's what I'm going to be looking at. Third thing was miscast beat me up and stole my lunch money, and then they bought lunch with my lunch money, came over and looked at me while they ate it. I had my first cast of the game was a miscast on 2 dice. Then there was the turn where I hell-hearted, then where I got hell-hearted and all 3 of my people did the small round blast template, and all of them took a wound. So my level 4 on turn 2, I think it was on 1 wound because of miscasts. Then the turn after the ogres went into the building, I miscast and lost Foot of Gork with one of my Orc Shaman. And then the next turn, my level 4 rolled 2 or 3 dice at like Itchy Nuisance or something, or Vindictive Glare, and rolled double 6s and did the one where everybody takes a wound, and so everybody died. And so I'm really frustrated by miscasts. I felt like I really only earned the one that I rolled 6 dice at Foot of Gork on. And I understand that the Hellheart is a good item, and I'm not going to complain about the Hellheart, but I felt like the miscast on 2 dice and the miscast on 3 dice were really just adding insult to injury at that point. I had already taken some wounds. You know, I was already going to have a bad time. Why did I have to get an extra bad time there? So that was, so I was kind of frustrated about that. And the last thing really, you know, I was talking about I need to learn how to deploy. I also need to learn good matchups for Boron. Boron is the name for my Ragnarok Spider. He is really good against infantry, so I'm not really sure what to do with him when I run up against a list like this. One of the Empire players that's going to be playing in the tournament runs very little infantry. He runs a lot of knights and stuff, and so I'm not really sure what I'm going to do against that list either. And so I'm really just going to have to figure out good matchups for him when he can't stomp, and it may be that there aren't any, and I'm just going to have to use him as support for like the Black Orcs or something. But again, I'm going to have to learn how to deploy a little bit better. I'm going to have to learn how to use him and find what he's good at. Anyway, if you liked the report, I hope you subscribe to the channel. I hope you did like the report. I put some effort into it. And if you have any suggestions or comments, just let me know, and I'll see if I can't incorporate them into the channel. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.